First we had autumn, then we had winter, next came spring. So what will it be now? It must be time for summer stories. Hi everyone, Jane here again. Thank you for watching my channel today, and I am here with a flip through and project of the brand new Maremi Small Art Collage book that has just come out. We've had all the seasons, so I had to buy each season as well as a few others, but I really wanted to complete the 4 seasons of the year. So the final season that I haven't had is this one, which has just come out, which is Summer Stories, and this is going to be very close to my heart because I live on the Isle of Wight in the UK, which is a relatively small island, and we are surrounded obviously by water, and I actually live right near a port where the ferry comes in from the mainland. So the beach and the sea are sort of quite integral to living where I live. So this looks already, with this beautiful shell hairband that this lovely lady has, or fairy has got on, looks ideal to me. Before I start going through the book though, I did want to quickly mention a few other YouTube channels here that are also sharing lots of projects and lots of inspiration with the Maremi Small Art book. Obviously, fundamentally, Marta herself has her own channel, and she's really good at sharing out the videos that other people make and giving people a shout out. So that is really, really appreciated. When you are a small channel on YouTube, it is quite hard to get seen. There is a lot of people on YouTube, and obviously in the art and craft arena, it's not that big. You know, my son watches YouTubers with millions and millions of subscribers. The art and craft industry is nowhere near that, but it's lovely to have all of your support, and that is why we really do appreciate those subscribes, those likes, those comments. It really helps YouTube to, you know, give us to know that they want to be spreading the word for us. But there are another few YouTubers as well that Marta mentioned in a live that she did the other day, and that I've now subscribed to. I was already subscribed to one, but I was subscribed to another couple. What I will do is I will put them on the screen at this point, and I hope I've got them all spelt out correctly for finding them on YouTube. I will also add the links to their channels in the description box, because I think that's probably the easy way to click through. So the first one, apart from obviously we have Marta, who is Maremi Small Art. We have, now I hope I'm saying these names wrong. I apologise profusely if I'm getting these names wrong. It's Inga, and she has at Inga Creative World. We have Ivanka, I'm hoping that's correct, and she's at Scrap and Coffee. And then we have Susanna, which is Susanna Chichi Art, but her channel is at Suchi Journal Live. So hopefully you've had that across the screen, and I will link the channels in the description box as well. So do please go and see what they do. So I'm presuming that if you're watching videos that I make about Marta's books, using them for collage, then they will be channels that will also interest you if you're not already subscribed, but you may already be there. I might be late to the party. But I am going to be doing a flip through of the summer stories, and I will put round about here where I will stop the flip through, and I'll put the time on the screen when I will start my project, because I will also be making a project with this book. Now you might not want to watch the flip through because you might be saving, you know, for as a special treat to yourself that you don't want to see, or you know, might just not enjoy watching flip through. So I'll put that time now, and I will put it down in the description box below. So this is the summer stories. I won't spend ages because you don't need me to go through every single little detail, because you want to have some surprises for yourself. So as always, we have the beautiful inside page where we have something that we can still cut out, but also a little message from Marta, and then all of the books that she now has out, which are quite a lot, and a QR code, which I think will probably take you to the Amazon page. Now these, I will link this book in the description box as well as all the other products I use. And we straight away got our usual, what we would expect, our beautiful sort of sea fairies, I would say, shell fairies. So some gorgeous, I love, as always, this background page, some beautiful backgrounds, some bits and bobs. I'm liking this one because it feels like already it's got a mixture of bits and bobs, and we've got words and we've got focal points and we've got backgrounds, which is the sort of thing I like. Loving the mix of the flowers as well in with the beachy scenes. Some more beautiful girls and lots of shells in this one, which I absolutely adore. Oh my word, look at that. That's a fussy cutter's delight, isn't it? Loving lots of words in this one. Some beautiful sort of pieces that I think would look fabulous on a canvas. Another fantastic background, a bit of musical notes in the background, more individual elements. These are really useful to match in with those backgrounds. I love her, she's beautiful. She may be on my page that I make, who knows. And this I adore. I'm not going to turn it because it's just a bit, you know, faffy to start doing that, but we've got text. I love text, so this is just something that I will adore. Birds, seabirds, we hear a lot. They never sleep. Seagulls never sleep. Beautiful and lovely. So we've got quite a muted palette with the seaside, I think, but we've also got these brighter sort of florals mixed in here. I mean, I love the colours in this. Beautiful, and that's the beautiful skies and beaches, and the little fairies are just so cute. And we've got male and we've got female and we've got different skin tones, which is all fantastic. Loving the wood. I have some photos that I take down in our local seafront. We've got lots of this beautiful beach huts that are peeling their paint, and I just love the look of it. It's beautiful. Again, beautiful backgrounds. This page, love this. So we've got bottles with scenes in, and we've got light bulbs, yay, with scenes in, beachy scenes, beautiful, gorgeous, and in a frame as well. So you could cut that frame out, and then you could actually cut out this part and, you know, raise it up and make a really lovely 3D. And I love all the text and the peeling paint. Windows and doors, always a lovely theme. Lovely little people. So we've got little people, we've got medium-sized people, we've got big people. They're not people, they're fairies, but you know what I mean. And then some more fabulous words. This, I see, I would just take that top section. That top section to me is absolutely gorgeous, and I can feel that this will also mix in with the whispers between the music notes as well. I think it would look lovely with that beautiful sort of sunsetty, twilighty, and again the brighter flowers and brighter seashells that you can, so many just to cut out and add, because that's what you need. You need all these little elements to add to your backgrounds. Gorgeous again, and I love, looks a bit like bingo cards. I don't think it's bingo cards. Bingo ledgers. Beautiful, and the drippy paint effect, more beautiful bright flowers. Loving the colours on these, and some, oh, I was going to say it's a crab. It's like a turtle crab. It's an unusual one. And some more shells, some seaweed. Again, I love this sort of collaged up already sort of look here. Got a little octopus, more beautiful flowers, some different sorts of animals that you might not expect to see so much. Not all fairies live in forests, some dwell where waves kiss the shore. That is beautiful. I love that. That is gorgeous. Beautiful, more beautiful, lovely fairies. Again, so if you've got a die, you know, a circle die, you could cut that out quite easily. That would be beautiful. Just in the middle of a canvas or in the middle of a card. More shells to cut out. I just love how much bits and bobs we've got in this book. Absolutely stunning. Love that. That is gorgeous. That's like a watercoloured scene. So you could then add your own watercolour-y bits in the background of that. That would be fantastic. And these girls are so beautiful with these shells. They're so lovely. I'm loving them. And then a beautiful, again, a very watercolory. I mean, you could just cut that out and put that in a frame, couldn't you? You wouldn't even need to do anything to it. Of course you would, because, you know, we're crafters and artists. So, again, my favourites, my seagulls. And some beautiful torn effects down the bottom here. This feels really thick, this book, actually. It does feel like there's a lot of pages going on in here. I haven't counted them, but I'm loving this on the background of all the pages. Some rocks, pebbles, more, you know, your little bits of sort of beachy house type looks. More beautiful fairies. Lovely, love that driftwood sort of a branch with the shells hanging from it. Gorgeous, love them. And then we've got this background as a proper actual full piece. So this is slightly muted when it's on the backs of the pages. It's not massively different, but you can see there's just a slightly amount more saturation of colour in this one. I love that, so you can use that. And then we've got some bonus backgrounds. Another bonus page with some ideas. And then we've got the information, and what I love is that on the back of the information, which I probably won't keep because I know all this information, is we've got the page. So I can use that page, and on the back of this one, I can use that page. So you've got two sort of pages that you haven't got to worry that you're going to be taking away from any of your other images. And like I always say, if there is an image, a page that you think that's just not me, I wouldn't use it, then you've got this beautiful background paper that you can use. So there we go. That is the Summer Stories. As always, it's got that lovely velvety feeling. I do love that really matte cover. So I really do honestly love this. I mean, I love my steampunk and my industrial and my grungy, but for me, nature, flowers, fungi, leaves, trees, flowers, and the beach are all equally as fantastic. So all these books do really speak to me. So I will be now making a spread with this. I think I'm going to do it in my ledger journal, because I do love using the ledger journal with these. It just, the text in the background and that sort of muted paper really goes with these books really especially well, I feel. So I will be doing that, and then hopefully you will stick around and watch my project. That's the thing. And if you have enjoyed the video, and you do enjoy the video, do please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and have a little look at those other channels that I've mentioned, and please do pop over and give them a like and subscribe if you haven't already done that as well. So until the next time I see you, I'll say bye bye for now, but please do stick around and watch the rest of the video. I decided to do things a little bit different to how I normally do my my journal pages. Usually I start with colouring my background, and then I add the collage according to what I've done in the background. But I actually wanted to start from the collage this time. I wanted that to be the really main point of my pages. So I'm going through and just tearing out some of the pages that I feel that I'm going to want to use. I've also gone for lots of little elements. I wasn't sure which ones I wanted to use, but I knew that I wanted to have a selection ready so that when it came to putting the composition together, I would have lots to choose from. So that's why I'm going with lots of shells, and I go for a light bulb, I go for a bottle, I'm going to go for some pebbles, I go for some background, as well as my beautiful main focal image. So I'm just having a look through and seeing what I'd like to use. Once I'd picked out the images that I thought that I would like, I decided that unusually for me, I was actually going to tear my main image out of the paper. I wanted her to keep lots of that floaty, speckly look that she had in the background, and I didn't want to sort of bluntly cut the hair and lose all of that lovely sort of texture and flowiness. So I'm putting some water onto the paper where I want to tear it. This is something I do with collage tissues and rice papers, and I thought it might be a good way to do it with the paper as well. Just because when you wet the paper, it also gives you a better sort of guideline for where you're going to tear. You're more likely to tear where you put the water rather than into other areas that maybe you don't want to go. I've got this background piece. I didn't want all of it, but I did want that sentiment that was on the top of it. Now I only really wanted the bottom bit because I felt that really matched in with the bottom of the fairy girl, and so I'm just again doing the same with the paper, and I'll put that piece of pattern paper aside and I can use that on another project at some point. Then I am going around and I just went and I cut out all of my little individual elements. I won't show you me cutting all of them out, but just to give you an idea, with these ones I did cut right to the edges because I wanted them to sort of be able to be layered on top of each other without too much bulk around them as well. Now I had a sort of an idea of how I wanted this spread to go. So I'm starting by just laying out the girl and getting a rough idea of where she was going to be. And I'm using a selection of acrylic paints. They're all matte. Two of them are a chalky sort of paint. They are the Americana Decor, and it's in Serene and Everlasting. Everlasting is this white base and Serene is the blue. And then I also got out the pink ice gem, I think it is, and the porcelain from IndigoBlu. I only actually used the porcelain, which is the one that I'm using here, just to add a bit of colour. So I wanted to add a strip of colour across the spread for those elements to really be able to pop out against. And then I wanted to add in some stenciling with the blue as well. So I quickly just dried off the layers that I'd already put down. Acrylic paint dries really quickly, but sometimes you just want to sort of help it along its way a little bit. And I'm using this sort of bubbly, circly stencil because I just thought it went with the sort of the whole theme of the page really, really well. And I'm just adding some of that that blue paint through that stencil. Next was the really fun bit where I decided where I was going to put everything, and I was sticking it all down with the Liquitex Professional Matte Medium. I do have a tendency to probably to overdo my glue and so I put it on the page, I put it on the back of the paper, I put it over the paper. I just like to make sure that it's going to be nicely sealed and laid down. So I am doing that first of all on the left hand side, and then I choose which bits I'd like to be sort of a mini focal point. So I like to have, if I'm doing a double page spread, I like to have one side that has like my main focal point. That's going to be the really big sort of hero image almost. And then I like to have a smaller sort of focal point as well on the other page. Now, often I will do that at a diagonal. So I have one in the bottom left, one in the top right, or something of those similar. But today I actually went a nice horizontal, and I think with the theme of the sea and looking out across, you know, a horizon across the horizon, is that right? Yes, across the horizon would be nice and straight across the page, and so I went with that for a change. So I'm building that sort of focal point and then adding my bits as I go, sometimes lifting bits up to get behind, but mostly just sort of planning it out as I'm sticking. I wanted to blend those areas in a bit better where the paper had been torn. So I'm using what was left of the blue paint and my brush, which still has the matte medium on, so I thought that that would help it to move around a little bit more, and just adding some of that blue around those images and just then finishing off with a few of the last little pieces. I don't think I stuck every single bit down, but I stuck most of the bits that I cut out down, and everything else just goes in a pot so that I can use that with another project. Now, once this had been sort of blended in a bit more, I wanted to really, again, sort of bring all the pieces together, because sometimes it can look a bit like your collage is separate from your background. So now I'm using the same stencil. So I like to do a lot of repetition in either the color or shapes or the design that I've used, and that helps to bring things together. So I'm using the same stencil, but this time with some of the everlasting white paint, and I'm going over from the background onto where some of the collage is to make it all feel more cohesive, like it's all part of one picture. And I'm doing some at the top and some at the bottom, and then I'll also do some on the other page as well. Even though I didn't feel that needed it as much, I still wanted it to be a repetition of what was on the other page so that it looks like it's one whole picture. I still felt at this point I needed something else, and because I've got that lovely ledger sort of text in the background, I thought some text would work really nicely on this. So I'm going with this stamp. It's from Polkadoodles, and as always I will list what I've used in the description box. I don't think this is a stamp that is available anymore, but I'm sure that there are other text stamps, or you probably even have text stamps maybe that are in your stash that you don't really use, and you might be able to find as well. But this is just to sort of add a little bit more interest. So I'm using the Faded Jeans Distress Archival ink. Oh, that was a mouthful, me trying to remember what that was. So it's the Archival ink in the Distress colour Faded Jeans. And I'm using that because it will go over lots of different sort of materials and mediums. And I'm just using it on with my hand just to add some sort of text around. And then I wanted a lot of that collage, that's where the shells are, to really feel a little bit more as though it's a proper feature. And so I'm using the Derwent Inktense pencil. It's the Indigo, no, I think it's Deep Indigo. And rather than put the pencil straight down, which I do sometimes do, but then I often regret it as soon as I've done it and think, why did I do that? I should have just took the ink from the pencil nib, and I'm just using my brush with some water and lifting the ink from the pencil tip. Now, I'm not getting the water on the wood. That's the important part. You should not dip your wooded pencils into water or get them too wet, because you don't want the water in the wood where it will obviously eventually rot it away. So I'm just picking up from the tip of the pencil where the ink is, and I'm just going around all of the sort of the outline areas of those shells, just to help give them a bit of shadow, a bit of shading, and lift them up. Now sometimes I will use a brown, or I will use a grey. I've even used other colours, but I tend to choose one that goes with whatever project I'm making. So as this is a sea themed page, or spread I should say, and there is a lot of blue in it, I'm carrying on with the blue, but I'm going with a bit of a darker blue so that hopefully it helps everything to stand out against the background. I do tend to spend quite a long time sort of going back in after I've done pieces, because sometimes it's too intense to start with. So I go back in with the water it out, and then you find that actually by doing that, maybe you took a bit of the colour away from the edge. So what I'm always looking for is to get the darkest colour right next to the images, and then a graduated sort of wash of that ink coming away, so you don't get too harsher line. I decided I wasn't going to go around the girl. I'm not sure, I haven't quite decided if she's a girl or a fairy, but most of the people in the book are fairies, so I'm sort of thinking she's a fairy, but she looks more like a little girl. But I didn't want her to have the same shadowing. I wanted her to be sort of more blended in with the background to a certain extent, but I feel that by doing it all the way around these shells, that helped to make her look a little bit different as well. I've really felt like I needed to have some white splatters on this page to sort of be a bit like the sea spray, and because the white paint was out, I decided that I was going to just use that with some water. I just popped some little bits of paper over her face and also over the bottle, because I didn't want those to have splats, and I wanted those, because they were my two main sort of focal points, I wanted them to stay nice and clean. And I just put lots and lots of water in with along with my paint, and just use my paintbrush to add some splats. Finally, I'm just adding on the text from the sentiment, and I cut it into pieces. It wasn't very straightly cut, but it didn't matter, because what I was going to do was add some sort of border with some pen around. So thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this flip through and project. If you have enjoyed it, do please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, it would be lovely if you could click that subscribe button as well. And until the next time, bye bye.